Okay, so 5-number summary is the numbers that consist of the minimum, the maximum, Q1, Q3, and also the median. We'll talk about how to use your calculator to get that in just a minute. But those are the 5-number summaries. We use those to make a box plot. So just kind of we call it the 5-number summary. We'll find out how to do that in just a minute. First, you find it, identify the outliers if possible. So again, you can use the 1.5 IQR rule to do that. And so you're measuring from Q3 to the right and from Q1 to the left a distance of 1.5 IQR, in this case 0.6, and that's where the fence goes. So anything outside that fence is considered an outlier. You're going to draw the labels, draw the axes, the horizontal, make those, don't just put random numbers there, but, actually make them so they're equally divided there, scaling the axis. Then you're going to draw a box. In this case, Q1 through Q3, you can actually draw it a little higher than they did. I like to draw it elevated from the axis. I don't know why they put it right on the axis like that. Typically, it's a little bit elevated. From Q1 to Q3 is the box. The line in the middle is called the median. Then you draw the whiskers. In this case, they go to the last value that's not an outlier. So they don't go all the way to outliers. There's kind of a gap there, and that means those points are outliers. That's what that means. They don't show gaps, clusters, or peaks. So you don't really know where the gap is, except for at the end of the bar and the outlier. That's the one spot where you might know of a gap. Okay, let me give you an example of this, and we'll try to. Okay, so there's an Instagram account. Here are the number of Instagram likes for 10 posts from this stat Instagram selected at random. So they were selected at random here. I'm going to try to organize these in order. Okay, so I tried to put these numbers in order. It looks like there are 10 numbers. Well, it says there's 10 posts. So that means the 5th and 6th will be the middle digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is kind of the middle of the data there, right there, that kind of line. And so these two will give me the average of 7 and 8. If you add them up and divide by 2, it looks like the median would be equal to 7.5. And then the bottom half of the data, which are these 5 pieces of data, we find the middle of that. So that would be considered Q1. So Q1 is 5. Q3 is the middle of this half of the data, which would be 9. So Q3. And then the minimum would be the very smallest values there, which is 2. And the maximum would be the very biggest value, which is 16. So again, we've got these. So this is the min. This is the max. So IQR, again, is figured out by doing the Q3 minus Q1. So 9 minus 5 is 4. So IQR is 4. At the IQR or Q3 here and add 1.5 times that. So 1.5 times 4 is 6. So 9 plus 6 is 15. So the upper fence, this tells me anything outside of this value is bigger than this value is an outlier. So I'm just going to write down the formula just so you have it. It's Q3 plus 1.5 IQRs. So in this case, Q3 would be 9 plus 1.5 times 4, which is 6, which is 15. So 15 is the fence. So anything more than that is an outlier. So this guy is an outlier. So now we know 16 is an outlier. The lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 IQRs. So the lower fence would be 5 minus 1.5 IQR, we established as 6. So I get -1 is the, so way out here is like the fence at -1. None of those values are outliers because they're not outside of -1. So there's just one outlier. And we kind of have enough information to solve this. I'm just going to kind of erase this just a little bit just so I can have room to do kind of a makeshift. I guess we're just going to show you how to make a box plot. Okay. So to make a box plot, you would first draw, let me get the black pen up here. So I'm going to scale it out on the bottom. So it looks like I need from maybe 0 to 20, so 0, maybe 10 in the middle, 20 here, 25 here, maybe 15 here. Something like that. I mean, it's hard to get it perfect. Okay, so let's kind of put the points here. Let's put the 5 number summary points up above here. So if you look at the 5 number summary off here to the left, so I need a point at 2. I'm kind of raising it from the x-axis there. Q1 is at 5. I'm putting a point there. The median 7.5, somewhere around there. The Q3 is at 9, right about there. And 16 is the max. Okay, so now I'm going to put my box around Q1 through Q3. So this is how I do it. I just kind of draw the box from Q1 to Q3, draw a line for the median there in the middle. There was no outlier on the left, so I'm connecting to that point. The only one that's outlier was 16, so 15 is not. So I'm going to kind of say that's 15 is kind of the end of the whisker or the plot out there. And so this one is an outlier. So it's unconnected, which shows that it's definitely an outlier. So this is a pretty good description of this. You can also do this in your calculator. So here's how to do it in your calculator. I want to make sure you know how to do this. Wow, this is so nice to do this in your calculator. Couple ways to do this. So one way, well, let's first just type in the data. So if you go to a list and spreadsheet page, is this green icon there. At the top, I'm going to put Insta for Instagram posts that we're counting here. So this, it doesn't matter the order. So 16, 4, 8, 7, 8, 6, 15. Increase the data, I do. That's good. That's probably right. Okay, so a couple of things you can do. So one, I'm just going to add a calculator page. You get home, go to the calculator page icon there, and now I'm on page 1.5. It talks to page 1.4. I'm going to do what's called one variable stat. To do that, hit menu, statistics. I think it's under stat calculations, and there it is, one variable stat. So you're going to choose the variable. What number of lists is just one list, obviously. You're going to choose the list here. So I'm going to choose the list is Insta. And just leave everything like it is there and just say OK. So it gives me all this data. I don't know if you see this, but right here, it gives me the 5 number summary right towards the bottom of this data. So 2 is the minimum, 5 is, that looks all correct. Median is 7.5, Q3 is 9, and max is 16. If I mouse up, I can actually see some more information. X bar, remember that's the mean, is 8. The standard deviation, SX stands for sample standard deviation, which is 4.47. This sigma X means the population standard deviation is that, and then it goes on to list the other values there at the bottom. Okay, so we have the 5 number summary. You can get it from that. And actually, did you know your calculator can actually just do this for you? So it kind of can. So if you hit the home key, once you have the data typed in there, you go to the data statistics page, and choose the variable which is called Insta. It does a dot plot, but what's nice is if you hit menu, plot type, box plot, oh my goodness, it does a box plot for us. So nice. And if you hover over, you can see it hovers, it tells you the minimums to Q1 is 5, the median is 7.5, Q3 is 9, are you kidding me? It tells you that value is 15, and if you hover over the outlier, it tells you that's 16. So it actually even figures out the outlier for you, which is super nice, right? So Really nice. You can see how the calculator does a lot of the work for you in AP Stats. I try to show you what the meaning behind some of those things are, like the standard deviation and the mean, but that's how to do that actually in the calculator. You can do it by hand or the calculator. I would recommend the calculator. It's going to do it very fast for you. But the concept behind it, I want you to know the concept of how we do it. What Q1 is the median of the middle half of the data. So the thing I didn't mention, I just want to mention it a little bit more explicitly here, which is like this. Do you see that bar there, that whisker? So we know that that exactly 25% of the data is to the left of Q1. In fact, if I click, it shows you those three data points. That's 25% of the data right there. If you click right there, 25% of the data is between Q1 and the median. Clicking off there. So if I click over here, 25% of the data is between the median and Q3, and then 25% of the data, I can't get it to go away, there you go, is to the right of Q3. So the box plot basically separates the graph into 4 equal parts as far as the amount of data in each part. So you have the same amount in each part, 25% of the data. They split it as evenly as you could. Sometimes it doesn't split exactly, like 5 is Q1, so it's kind of like 2.5, on each side, so to speak. But same thing for the other ones. But they work out to be equal. It's the same amount of data, 25% in each part of that box plot there. So I just want to mention that with any box plot, that's true. Always 25% there. Okay, I think that is our lesson for today.